welcome to Retro Americana. I'm your host, Jeremy Scott. All right, it's the season 2 finale, folks. Yo! And like I said last week, we're going to be talking Amityville, the Amityville murders, not the haunting. And I'm going to get this out of the way real quick. We're going to be talking about all the crap that George and Kathy Lutz said happened there. And they're the people that the book is based around, the Amityville Horror, and all the crappy Hollywood movies that followed. They said 28 days into moving in, they moved out because of all this stuff, this demons and hauntings and stuff. This is just my opinion. I think it's a big marketing scheme that they got rich off of, and film companies got rich off. And what really happened was the murder of a family, which is pretty awful. So on November 13th, 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. Had a .30 caliber Marlin rifle and executed his entire family, and that's what they say on the books. Although I think there might have been somebody else involved, maybe, I don't know yet. But I'm going to present this information to you, and you kind of digest it and come up with your own conclusion. So the footage that's going to happen here in a second is the news brief. Some of it's raw footage because you can see the time code thing happening in the lower part of the screen, but it's also mixed in with the actual report that I guess was done on the news broadcast. It's kind of weird, but I think it makes sense. So check that out.
He came, he opened the door, and he was screaming, "Come on, help me, somebody shot my mother and father." And everyone ran out of the bar, and that was it. They all took off. No, I had to stay. I was tending bar. They all jumped in his car and took off.
Today, police combed the DeFeo's handsome 3-story house for clues while divers explored the backyard swimming pool for the still unfound murder weapon. Police have been questioning the son, Ronald, and now say he is being, quote, safeguarded. Investigators say without explanation that they now feel young DeFeo was in the house at the time of the murders, but they're not yet considering him a suspect.
And so forth. We have no suspect at this time. We have no indication of the motive at this time.
What about Ronald DeFeo, the son, the surviving son?
Ronald is being safeguarded by the Suffolk County Police at this time.
Why safeguarded?
Why? Because the 6 members of the family dead, and we don't know why, and he's the sole remaining member.
Is he also a suspect?
He's not a suspect at this time.
Few people in the neighborhood knew the family well, but those who did described them as close-knit.
Well, I think they were just very sweet, very religious people, very family-minded people. And that's about all I could say. Very good, very generous, this type. Very close with their children.
There's one element in the usual mass murder story which seems to be missing from this case. There's no sense of fear in this community. No feeling of a mass murderer on the loose. People we talked to seem to feel that whatever was the motive for this crime, it had something to do with the family. It's not something that's going to return to bother anyone else. In Amityville, Long Island, Phil Barno, News Center 4. This morning, DeFeo appeared for arraignment at the 1st District Court in Hauppauge, where he was ordered held without bail. As is standard practice in a multiple murder case, he was arraigned in only one of the killings, that of his 12-year-old brother Mark. The court agreed to let a physician treat DeFeo for injuries to his face, but it refused to allow a psychiatric examination for him, which had been requested by the defense attorney.
Well, based upon my conversations this morning with the defendant, Ronald DeFeo, and based upon the nature of the charge and that he's alleged to have taken the lives of 6 members of his family, in my opinion, I don't think he presently understands the nature of the proceedings, and I don't think he can therefore properly assist in his defense.
Now, what was your... Leonard Simon says he'll continue trying to get the psychiatric examination for his client, and he has not ruled out the possibility that he may enter a plea of insanity. The case is expected to go to the grand jury on Monday. At that time, the district attorney will enter evidence in all 6 murders. In Suffolk County, Phil Barno, News Center 4. Major question about this crime which still hasn't been answered, the question of motive. It's reported that Ronald DeFeo Jr. stood to gain about $200,000 in life insurance from the death of his family. Police say they're not ruling that out as a possibility. No doubt it's one of the questions which will be considered by the grand jury this week. In Amityville, Long Island, Phil Barno, News Center 4.